All right. 3, 2, 1, and we are live. How you doing, friends? Ernie with the Trader of Futures here for another Bitcoin extravaganza, monumental prognostication, electrification. That's not going to be my intro from now on. And today's topic isn't really a topic. It's kind of a question. I am eliciting a response from you. Are you giving up on Bitcoin? Have you lost the faith? Is Bitcoin dead, done, gone? How could that be, Ernie? When Bitcoin dominance now approaching 65%. It is stronger than ever. And altcoins are falling away. Even those that are relatively highly correlated with Bitcoin. Like the leaders like Litecoin, Ethereum, etc., etc. Bitcoin Cash. They just don't have the same mojo. It's like money's rolling out of them and into Bitcoin. So, of course, behind me we have the Bitcoin bubble in action. And as you know, I've been, basically calling this bubble through its various phases. A while back I was talking about how this was a bear trap. Then we have the exponential move with the blow-off top. Big capitulation, followed by a secondary blow-off top, which we are currently in the process of forming. So we're looking for that second blow-off top, which I think is going to be somewhere between 12,000 and 13,000. It has gotten as high as, excuse me, there's pollen in the air and it's driving me up a wall. We have gotten as high as 11,560. And but I expect that we'll probably, probably peak out right at 12,000 or so, maybe a little higher. We could get up to 12.5, maybe even 13. I don't know, but it's going to be a secondary blow off top, which is the normal, which is the pattern, which is the anatomy of a standard bubble, which Bitcoin is in right now. It is in a bubble mode. This bubble is a lot smaller than the previous. Well, it's not really a lot smaller. It achieved about 60-70% of the previous bubble that started in 2017 and then took all of 2018 and a good portion of 2019 to relieve itself, to kind of fade away in those ever-diminishing dead cat bounces until there was nothing left, and then it went in for a dip in the river Hades. And now we are in a secondary bubble. The question is, will this result in a even lower dip than the previous bubble? Or will we see something unprecedented in bubble history? And that is to take off from here and never achieve that dead cat bounce that I am predicting. That is the question. It is a very vital question. So, Alex is asking, Ernie, first of all, you must spell my name correctly. E-R-N-I-E. There is no A in Ernie. I don't know of any Ernies where there's an A, but so many people put an A in there. It's really weird. How far down do you figure it'll drop after this blow-off top, this secondary blow-off top? And that is a good question. Typically, what happens is it'll fall down to the just below the long-term regression line. And if you were with me in my older channel when I was following the initial bubble and I was drawing that long-term regression line, you'd see what I mean. That long-term regression line is probably around, 5,000 right now, at about 5,000 BTC, 5,000 Satoshis. I don't know if that's correct, but 5,000 Bitcoin And we should fall below that. The last one was at around 5,400 or so after the first dead cat bounce. So we could actually look at that. We could maybe go to a weekly chart. So we'll go to a weekly chart. We'll go back as far back as Coinbase will go. And then we can add a regression trend, a regression channel from the beginning to current day. There we go. Now currently this particular regression channel is showing about 8,000, which will change dramatically once we start getting, coming down here. Let's see, where were we back here? We're at about 6,700. And this is only because we do not have a longer term Bitcoin here. What we need is we need a lot more data. So we need to go back to like I think Bitfinex will have much more data. There we go. With Bitfinex we go back all the way to 2013. So we can try that. All right, so this one's showing 6848 is the current long-term regression line. So the theory goes in technical analysis, long-term, I mean, from a statistical point of view, this is the long-term range. Now, I believe this is set at about, what is this set at, 2 standard deviations? Yeah, let's do 1 standard deviation. 2 standard deviations will give you about the 95% case. We'll go for 1 standard deviation. There we are. It's much more likely that we'll see prices somewhere within this. So, let's see, can we extend these lines? The source is the close, okay. Style, extend lines. There we go. All right. So let's say that, let's see, do I have any other tools here? I can probably draw on this. Hold on. Let's see if we can nail this down here. Do I have any drawing tools here? Yeah. I have this drawing tool here. So I think what we're going to see is let's see, to draw, press and hold Command Alt while moving the mouse. All right. So we see a secondary top. It should come down and then something like this. And then it should go down below this and then at some point try to go above it. So that's what I see happening right there. That's my best guess. So will it get down to 3,000 again? I don't know. Will it get down to 6,000? I think there's a good chance. Yeah, as you can see here, we drop below. But this line here is being influenced dramatically by this next bubble. This line, the bottom edge of this, was lower, I believe. Yeah, looks something like that. So this is where I think Bitcoin is going. So I would say that, and perhaps even a little bit lower than this, maybe into the 5,000 range, that now it's starting to make sense. Let's see, how do we get rid of this? All right, so let's try that one more time. Oh, that's a horrible one. That's horrible, Ernie. Ah! Let's do that one more time. Got to quit out. This is a really primitive tool. All right, you ready? So I believe there's going to be a secondary blow off top, come down like this, and then down below here, go sideways, maybe ride this line here, and then do another whoop-de-doo. Okay, so based on this, it looks like it may get down below 5,000. Based on that, looks like down below 5,000. Based on that, down below 5,000. That's very, very rough, as you can see. Very, very rough. But based on the long-term regression channel, it will typically dip below the 1 standard deviation line. It might go lower, you know. It might reach this node here, which is what I would expect. That it would run through this high-value node and then run through this low-value well until it reaches down here. So that could be another, you know, it could do this. It could come down. Let's see, I need to, it could come down to there, like that, and then hang there for a little bit. And then this node will likely get bigger. This node will get bigger. Like that. All right, that's what I see. So Luke's would say, hey, try Bitstamp. All right, let's try Bitstamp. Let's see if we get a different result. BTC USD. No, it's the same. Actually, Bitfinex had more data. Type in BLX ticker in TradingView for the longest Bitcoin history. Okay. BLX. Yeah, look at that. Goes all the way back to 2011, so let's give that one a shot. This will likely give us a more accurate representation. So we'll extend the lines. We'll make it 1 standard deviation. All right. So now we'll zoom in on it. Ah, yes. Now we're getting somewhere. Thank you very much, Raziel. Raziel. Now we can get the very crude drawing tool. And we can see we'll get the secondary blow off top. We should come down to a dead cat bounce. And then a series of diminishing dead cat bounces until we get below here. Now, see here, we're on this node here. Will we break through this volume well and then come down to here, which would be about 2,500? Now it's starting to get a little more hairy. So, yeah, I still think that we're going to hit... Well, I said this yesterday, too, and that was based off the top of my head that I thought that it's very possible we could break that $3,000 barrier. Lambos and pros? What the fuck is a pro? No, Lambos and hoes. We are looking for Lambos and hoes. Get that straight. How can you be a Bitcoin maximalist if you don't understand that concept? It's Lambos and hoes that we're all going for. And maybe an island. Yes, get those likes up. Hit the smash that like button. Thank you very much. Add away, hit the like button the way whales hit on the hodlers. Alfred says, Ernie, why are you still a bear? I am... You know, you don't understand, really. I am neither a bear nor a bull. I call it exactly how I see it. And that's it. All right? I mean, I had no idea that this was going to come up, and when it did, I just took it for what it was. All right? I actually shorted here around, right around here, around 8,500, made some good money. But then I went long again. All right? And I have, and then I get out again at, I did get out early at about 95.50 or 97.50, I think it was. And I went into Litecoin based on another theory. And, you know, I missed the blow off top, but that's okay. You're always going to miss the blow off top. So I am now waiting for the secondary top where I will then take my Litecoin off the table, and it should have a nice little gain in it. And I will wait until Bitcoin moves down here, probably to this, you know, after this first dead cat bounce, buy into it, and then do this whole buy, sell, and then start shorting again. Do the short every friggin' rally cry. That's not being bearish. That is being playing in the moment, being present. All right? Big difference. The trend has clearly changed and is closer to 20K than 6K at this point. No, there's no fucking trend. The only trend that exists is this long-term regression channel. To think that this is the start of a trend, this is a bubble. A bubble is not the start of a trend, Alfred. I'm sorry, but you are just so fucking wrong. And just because, yes, it's important to have different viewpoints. The only difference is that when I know I'm right, I don't give a fuck what you think. And you're just fucking wrong. Sorry. Tough love here. Ernie, I'm using a special algo that has 90% accuracy. Oh, well, that's great for you. And my weekly long trigger was at 10.9, and now it's saying to hold up to 14K retest. Looks like Bitcoin will be moving in a megaphone pattern on the daily. 14K, I think, is a little higher than I would have anticipated. I don't think we're going to break this previous top. Unless, but I don't think so. I think we've already broken the bubble here. I think that is the highest point. I think we're going to get a secondary top. So this might be that 10% case on your unbelievable algo that you're not sharing with anybody. Ernie, do you think 14K is our 20K? No, I think it's going to be less. I think it's going to be 13K. And yes, that's what I've been saying. It's a mini version of the 2017 pump. Tyler says, I'm spending my crypto profits on Lambos and hoes. You better hope that the wife isn't looking over your shoulder or something. That is, if you have a wife. Oh, I have to show that because it was censored. All eyes. Ernie, I'm holding since 3.8K and long since 10.2K as a recent trade. Appreciate your views on BTC action. Always use your wisdom and to help my trades and positions. Thank you. Whether we differ or not, well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Like I said, I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks when I know that I'm right. Well, actually, I don't know that I'm right. But that's my best prognostication. And, you know, I've been fairly accurate up to this point. Missed a couple of small calls along the way. I remember this April 14th call back here. That was a big surprise, big pump that came out of the blue back in 2018. That surprised the hell out of me. But then it made me more savvy on the whale's modus operandi. That's Latin for mode of operation, otherwise known as MO. All Eyes says the New York Stock Exchange and Fidelity on ramp custodial services for BTC launching mid-July. This might be a bullish month. I don't know. They've been talking about that for quite some time. I think they're hedging their bets. I don't understand what the attraction of a custodial service for for anybody. I mean, why do I need Fidelity to provide that service for me? To hold my Bitcoin. And they're not even really holding it. No one holds Bitcoin because the Bitcoin itself is in the network. It is just a representation in the network. So they're not holding it. Of course, this is assuming that nobody can get at your keys. So I guess maybe Fidelity could generate their own keys, their own super secret keys, and put your stuff in there and then create a pointer to your account or something like that, and then claim that they're holding it. It's just, all it is a fucking price, is a dollar grab. That's all it is. Question M. At what price point in the next couple months would you have to cross for you to admit you're wrong? I'm never wrong. Ever. I can't be wrong. I will say this, that I have a 95 to 98% certainty that this is a bubble pattern. I have I'd say a 90% certainty that we've already witnessed the first initial blow-off top, and now we're looking at the second blow-off top. How's that? And it has nothing to do with price or level. Bubbles don't work that way. They can just as easily go to 14K as they can go to 200K. That's just the nature of a bubble. They all come down, though. Alex Gahel. Libra. What did you take on Libra? For those that don't know, Libra is the proposed cryptocurrency from Facebag. And they have all kinds of other partners that are jumping into the deal. And the whole purpose of this, what they think they're going to accomplish, is to capture not only all your personal and social demographic data, but all your buying data as well. I mean, virtually everything that you touch with the dollar, Facebook wants to have part in, and they want to extract, squeeze the life juices out of you, and then put you into some sort of social grading system. And you'll have a score, and your ability to access the network that they will control through all of their monetary partners will be determined by your compliance with their social narrative. That is what I think Libra is all about. It is insidious. It is the most unbelievable, evil, fucking notion, idea, concept that anybody has ever devised. And it's exactly what they're doing over in China. So that's what I think Libra is all about. In fact, I would go so far to say that Bitcoin is also on that track. That Bitcoin is eventually going to be made or rendered useless, and they will come in with secondary chains that will do, once they have everybody kind of wrapped up in it, come in with secondary chains like lightning to do exactly the same thing. All Eyes says that Fidelity is an on-ramp for people who don't have access or exposure to BTC. They manage $7 trillion. I know. I used to work for Fidelity. You can't tell me anything about Fidelity that I don't know. Well, maybe you could if you worked for Fidelity over the last few years. But I was the guy who actually put Fidelity Online Brokerage on the internet. I was literally, not figuratively, literally the guy that managed all the other people, coordinated the marketing, the executive suite, the technology suite, and all the vendors on building the online brokerage for Fidelity. Me. All right? So there is absolutely nothing you can tell me about Fidelity that I don't already know. So anyways, what could hardware wallet do? What cold hardware wallet do you own, Ernie? And what are your recommendations? I have a Ledger, but I don't use it, and I don't really give a shit about it, quite frankly. I think that they're useless. I think they're useless. I think the best hardware wallet is really a piece of paper. Put your key on a piece of paper, lock it away somewhere where a fire can't get at it. That is the best hardware wallet. But all of this is going to become moot, quite frankly. When quantum computers come online and are able to decrypt the cipher, or if somehow somebody is able to compromise that wallet. Now, a lot of these hardware wallets are being compromised. They are sold by third parties with software that it's embedded in there that actually transmits information outside anytime you hook up your system to the... See, the problem with a hardware wallet is that eventually you're going to have to hook it into your computer, which is attached to the internet. And that is where it gets compromised. Okay. Thanks, All Eyes. Kahuli wants to know what happened to me. I don't understand what the question is. What happened to me? What does that mean? What happened to me? What do you think about Facebook Libra being stopped by Congress? I don't think we'll ever get to that point. I think Facebook is already experiencing their own pressures that are going to make it very difficult for them to pull this off. Kaholi says, I write it on 2 different papers, store it in 2 different places. That way, even if I may have a typo, I still have a backup to double check. Okay, whatever. I suppose if I had millions and millions in Bitcoin, what would I do? First of all, I would probably take the vast majority of it and pull it out and put it into other assets and spread it around. I don't think I can't imagine if I acquired millions and millions in Bitcoin or crypto and keeping it in there. I just cannot imagine it. Just can't imagine it. Unless I had millions and millions and millions and millions outside of that and I didn't care. From Fidelity boss to YouTuber. No, actually, when I was at Fidelity, I was managing all the vendors too, like Netscape and Apache and Sun Microsystems and EMC and all of these different companies that we were using their technology to put the first brokerage online. And I worked very heavily with Sun because they were our principal hardware and operating system that we were running all this stuff. And developed relationships with them, and they were so impressed with what I was doing at Fidelity that they invited me to become chief architect for professional services at Fidelity. So I became chief architect for Sun Microsystems after that. After that, for a little while, then I left on my own and became an international technology management consultant. Went around the world, helped different companies with their technology initiatives. And then after that, I decided that didn't want to go and work anymore. Wanted to do this internet thing, but that was a long time ago. That was back in 2009, 2010 that I decided to just, hang out at home full time. Although I was always hanging out at home for the most part. I mean, just, not even bother. Just be my 100% my own boss instead of contracting myself out. So that's what happened. Not the EliPal wallet. Check it out. I bought one. Private key. Never touched the internet. Works by air gap technology. Air gap. James Levinson. Where are gold and silver headed? Higher prices? I don't think so. I think that there's a lot of people that think that the economy is just imploding. There's a good friend of mine, Greg Manarino, is talking about how the whole economy is just slowly drifting into nothing, and that we're not seeing it, but it is falling fast, and I don't see that at all. I think that we're still on the precipice of a massive bull run. And if that happens, gold and silver will continue to increase in value, but they'll just basically keep up with inflation. Just admit you're wrong about Bitcoin? What am I wrong about? Everybody knows the dollar is dying and crypto is the new store of value. Otherwise, people who think otherwise are just losers. Yeah, they're all losers. Just keep on believing that. Tried to leave a link in the chat, but didn't show up. Yeah, that's because they censor everything. If I see a link, I usually will put it out there, but for some reason, it's not allowing me to. Calholy says, that's kind of the problem with the Bitcoin multimillionaires. There's not really an easy off-ramp without running into tax issues, so they usually just stay married to the Bitcoin system. Well, the other problem is that the only place where you can realize the profits that you've made in Bitcoin is off-network, right? So you have to go off-network to other types of brokers and do your transaction there. There is no broker online that would be able to give you or allow you to realize your profit or transfer it to some other form of wealth. And there are very few people out there that would allow or even consider taking your massive amounts of Bitcoin and trading it for real property. So you need to do that early and often, I think. You need to spread it around as much as you possibly can. All I says has been his own boss for 3 years now. Well, I'm going on 20, I think. Well, you could say that even before Sun, I was my own boss there too, so I'm really going on 30. Iceman J says stock market is going to the moon and Bitcoin will crash again. That's what I think. I don't know if I'm going to call this a crash. I'm just going to call this the natural devolution after another bubble. And it should stay along that long-term, so you can see it here, this long-term right here. Right there. All right. It's going from here to there. That long-term regression should stay true. So if I were to really pull this out, you know, in 2022, I think that we'll see Bitcoin still around the 8,000 mark. And in 2023, it only goes out to 2023 here. Let's see, maybe I can compress this a little bit more. Uh, 2029, we should be around the 13.5 range. And maybe 2030, maybe up to 14,000. All right, you see that? So 2029, I'm predicting that the mean price for Bitcoin will probably be around 14 to 15,000. Yes, so I have significantly more experience than you have life, All Eyes. Yeah, I've got about nearly 40 years in technology and in business. I've owned several businesses as well. I don't know anything about Craig Wright or the Tulip Trust, so I can't comment on that. Why is the news unit such a hater? I can't speak for the news unit, and I don't believe that he's a hater. I think he's a provocateur, but I don't think he's a hater. What's the end game for BTC? There's always something new coming along. So at some point it will stop being useful. Kaholi says he remembers a guy in Canada selling his house for BTC. And I'm sure that that's happened many times, and there's all kinds of transactions like that happening. I really need to send you my charts. I'm seeing 100,000 by 2021 at least. Keep your charts. But thank you. Yes, 2029, 14K BTC. Based on the long-term regression. That's this line, that's this channel that you see here. That is the path that it's on. That's the path that it's been on for now 10 years. So you believe it will never have an exponential growth not possible. Well, it has had exponential growth. Several, all these bubbles, exponential growth, and then gives it all back. But no, I think we'll have linear growth. Maybe even logarithmic growth. Are you training your daughter to crush Bitcoin dreamers after you pass? No. My daughter, goes by her own Intuit. She's big in the cannabis industry. Well, that's why you're a big inspiration with my outlook. Well, thank you. Although some of mine differ, like loading the boat at 3.8K. Well, I didn't load the boat. I put a small amount there. I don't have that much interest in it, quite frankly. And I think that its future is way too volatile for me. And if there is a future, fine, I'll get into it. But quite frankly, I think I'm perfectly happy starting the business that I have in PatternCast. And soon we will be doing Bitcoin trading in PatternCast. And if you're interested in that, let me know. Are you interested in Bitcoin signals from our PatternCast technology? There's the question. And as a matter of fact, maybe I'll do my next video on that. Bitcoin using PatternCast. Bitcoin up 700% since its inception. Yeah, but everything starts at zero, so that's no big deal. By 2029, though, how many halvings is that? I believe it's 2040 will be the last halving. Once there are no more halvings, that's it for Bitcoin. Thanks. All right, so there is a yes to the BTC signals using PatternCast. PatternCast is really a remarkable technology. And we apply it to futures, Forex, and equities. And it just has a spectacular positive skew and record. It is so consistent, and it's getting better every day. So that's a wonderful thing. All right. We are 45 minutes into the show. That means that we must let it go. PatternCast is too expensive for the average Joe. Will you ever make more average Joe friendly pattern? I don't understand how it's too expensive. It's like $150 a month. That's nothing. If you have something that costs you $150 a month, and it's giving you opportunities to make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month, how is that in your wildest dreams? How is that too expensive? That makes zero sense. That basically tells me that you have no money. That's what it comes down to. So S&P is close to breaking the 3,000 mark. Yes. Back in, I think it was 2011, I wrote an article on the street. And I said that right around this time, or a little bit after it, that we could see the S&P at 3,500. I think that's where we're going. Actually, I think it was 4,000 for that, and 35,000 for the Dow. So I see us going to that, maybe even higher. For you little guys, we have people that are paying that price with $5,000 to $10,000 accounts, and they're more than happy. Right? I mean, seriously, the value that you're getting from PatternCast for that amount of money, it is in my view, it is grossly underpriced. Grossly underpriced. So anyways, what I would suggest is that if you only have a little bit of money, go out and get a second job and start taking that money and just putting it into the bank, you know, and grow your wad. Yeah, there are a lot of people, Scumbag, that do use options with the PatternCast signals. But that implies that you know how to trade options. And virtually everybody that I talk to that says they know how to trade options, not virtually everybody, but I would say 99% of the people I talk to that say they know how to trade options really don't understand the first thing about options. I can only get stock signal if I purchase because I'm not interested in Forex or oil, etc. There will be versions of PatternCast that will be equities only in the future, but we need to build out the service first before we can do that. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't be interested in Forex or futures. Far more advantageous than trading stocks. Have you caught on to Crown Crypto Cave? Yes, I have. His channel has really grown in this year. Yeah, and there are lots of people that keep on going on Twitter saying how great he is and how lousy I am and keep on telling him. So I'm sure he knows all about me. It's not about what you make, it's how you spend it. Stop eating out, buying new shoes, and drinking all that beer and wine. I don't agree with that. I think you got to be happy. I don't think that you should be gluttonous. You can be gluttonous if you want, as long as you can manage it and stay happy. But, you know, I mean, it's all about doing shit. That's what it's all about. You can do a lot of shit and not really make a whole lot of money and be very happy and be very successful. There are options on futures, yes. But I think the options that Scumbag was talking about are for equities. They're essentially the same, except that the underlying is different. Thanks, Scumbag. All right. The stream seems to be degrading, and now is the time for us to say goodbye. I want to thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow. Why are futures easier than trading stocks? I didn't say that they were easier. I said that they have advantages over stocks. First of all, they're simpler. They're aggregates of larger markets, so you don't have to do as much. They don't move as erratically. There's better information on them, better liquidity. And the profits that are made on futures, at least in the American market, the first 60% are taxed at the capital gains rate, and the other 40% at your nominal tax rate. Where on equities, everything is taxed at your nominal tax rate, which is higher, much higher than the capital gains rate. So from that point alone, futures are, I mean, it's almost like you get a 10 or 15% advantage right away, never mind the leverage that you have in it just by trading and making money with futures. So anyways, that's it. Now it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much. I want everybody to hit that like button. Go to the video just below you. Smash that like button. Click the notification button. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. Because we're going to keep this thing going. My new channel has been on air now for about a year. I have achieved a little over 5,000 followers. That's not bad. I expect by the end of this year to be up around 10, maybe 15,000 followers, and then hopefully this channel will take off from there. Yeah, I wouldn't rely on making, trading options to pay for anything that that is immediate or necessary. In my view, that's not a great plan. I would rather do something that had absolute certainty, like starting a business on the side or working for someone on the side or freelancing. Learn how to make an extra $1,000 a month or an extra $5,000 a month and do that on the side while you're going to school. That would make more sense. The trading, I mean, you could lose it all. You could make one mistake and lose it all, and then where are you? You're not going to school. Concentrate on getting good grades, because with good grades, you can get grants and get the school to pay you to go. Yeah. No, I am not. My goal is to get up to 100,000 followers. My goal is to get up to 100,000 followers and then beyond. That's what I want to do. I was on my way there. We started getting exponential growth in the channel, and then somebody hacked me, stole my identity. But we won't cry over that. We're just going to go forward. And hey, maybe I'll get there sooner. I'm going to have to come up with some kind of shtick and attract more people, or I'll just start getting really heavy duty on this channel and start talking some really nasty shit. I think once people see that this plays out the way I'm asserting and start getting involved in some more volume profile analysis, I think we'll start getting more people piling on here. Especially if you share these videos, hit that like button, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, invest in real estate is another good way. That's very good. Very, very good. Yeah. Buy yourself a two-family home, rent out one side of it, live in the other, and go to school. That's probably the best way that and on top of that, get yourself a part-time job. That's what I did. That's what most of my, more well-off friends did as well. But I actually quit school. Yeah, passive income is the name of the game. All right, now it is time to go. Thank you very much, guys and gals, and we'll see you next time. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye.